When I got here, I said, like, if we're the State Theater, we're going to produce shows about great Arizonans that are great Americans that have changed our country, because there's so many of them. And so you do a quick Google and you realize that there are none. Lauren Gunderson, who is the most produced playwright in the country, is an old friend of mine. In 2020, right as everything was shutting down, we were trying to figure out, like, well, what type of theater can we produce? And so I texted her, like, would you ever consider doing a one-person show about Justice O'Connor? Very quickly, it grew to about her and Justice Ginsburg, and then it grew again. And then she said, like, what would you think if it was a musical?
Sean Daniels approached me and said, hey, what do you think about directing this new musical about the Supreme Court? And I can never turn down a world premiere.
Okay, we're gonna start with Get It Done.
You're forging a path that no one has trekked before to be epic about it.
I am ready to be sworn to this confirmation hearing for my place in the Supreme Court of the United States. We commissioned this work from Lauren Gunderson over 2 years ago about what would that story be to have the very first Black female Supreme Court justice.
The container of the show is within her Senate confirmation hearing.
Your favorite. I like the one.
Vera is a truth seeker. Vera is someone who fights for equality and justice, and she believes that although she feels very deeply about the law, and she has these beautiful icons that she looks up to, hence the conjuring of these women as she's being sworn into her confirmation hearing.
I mean, Ruth Bader Ginsburg is pretty famous, and I've learned that she embraced that fame, which I personally think is really fun. But I didn't know a lot about Sandra Day O'Connor, and she is now a new hero of mine.
I feel like here, she's always been an icon. So I've always thought that Sandra Day O'Connor was incredible.
We're gonna finish here. Good.
I've learned that Sandra was the master of knowing how to disagree agreeably.
It's also fascinating to play a real character, a historical character. When you're the first, you have to jump through a lot more hoops, and the hoops are fiery.
Being the first, like she literally was the first, and I've learned so much because of this play, how she trailblazed for Ruth to have a place. If it wasn't for Sandra, there would be no Ruth.
Whenever you can, with the gavel. Come on, I get to play Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I know.
Not only does it really brilliantly portray how Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Sandra Day O'Connor become best friends when they're basically on two different sides, but it explores how you can be on two different sides of the aisle and argue and fight, but you're still working for the same cause.
It's okay to interrogate your idols and interrogate the people that came before you, and to say, these are the things that you did beautifully, and these are some moments that you might have missed, and how can we work on that together to build a stronger, America.
Judge Jackson, congratulations.
What does it mean for the first Black Supreme Court nominee, female, to be being interviewed by the Senate as they're in rehearsal for a musical about the exact same thing?
I think it's weirdly timely, prescient. I don't know what else you could say about it.
It's wild. It's definitely life imitates art, imitates life, I mean, and they've been working on this, I understand, for over 2 years.
And we are literally putting the current history on stage right now.
Okay, here we go.
I'm a Latina. I've never, ever assistant directed another Latina female. I relate a lot to Ketanji Brown Jackson's struggle.
Now, wait, savor it.
It's really helped Chanel Bragg, who plays Vera, and I, our conversations, because she's also the Associate Artistic Director of Arizona Theater Company. We are both the first women of color in our position at our respective theaters.
And as a Black woman within this organization in a leadership position, I have seen so many parallels between what being the first means. So I am the first in Arizona Theater Company's history in this position. So being able to use my actual experience of what I'm navigating every day in my position to see how that influences the character of Vera has been very interesting.
We give like men such range in terms of like what they're allowed to do and still be heroes. For women, we're almost unforgivable of any mistake that is made. And so I think one of the challenges of this piece is like, how do you write a musical that is about all of these women and make them real? I feel like the team has spent an incredible amount of time making sure that these women get the same latitude and hero's journey that men get when their stories are told.
I can't wait for the day where my qualifications or Vera's qualifications or KDJ's qualifications will just speak for us themselves, and we don't feel like we have to go into a room announcing it or making sure that everyone knows that I deserve to be here, I'm qualified to be here.
This is part of the reason I wanted to do this, to remind people how things happened. If you forget the things that we've got that were so hard fought by Ms. O'Connor and Ms. Ginsburg and the rest, it's very much easier to roll it back. We think that can't happen, but as we know, as we have seen, it can happen.